In this video, we're going to be talking about the rolling objects using the work and energy process, not using the forces analysis like we did in the previous unit. So we're going to get the same results, but using rotational forms of energy along with the work energy process. So let's revisit rolling. So instead of using forces and torque, when we're talking about rolling motion, we can analyze it from an energy point of view. And so we still use the same work energy problem solving steps. And this is an important note. When dealing with static friction, it does not do any work on the object. So let me give you an example. Let me delve into that a little bit, why that occurs here. So when we're rolling without slipping, right? So let's say we're on an incline, we're going down the ramp, and we think about there's gravity. Let's just talk about the force of friction here. Force of friction is going to cause that torque to cause the angular acceleration to be this way, right? That's what's causing the torque. There's normal force and gravity, but those don't exert a torque around the center of axis now. Now, when we're rolling without slipping, remember, there's a couple ways to think about it. You can either zoom in and kind of see that the displacement of this, because it's not rubbing against the surface, the relative velocity of this guy relative to the surface is actually zero. If you remember looking at our rolling analysis, the velocity of that point is zero, because when you're rolling without slipping, you have a velocity of the center of mass. This is without slipping. Okay, without slipping, because with static friction, it's not slipping here. The velocity of center of mass we know is r omega, and we know at this point here, v is equal to r omega. So if you add these two, you have the entire thing is moving r omega. The entire center of mass of the object is r omega down the ramp, but then at the end point we have an r omega going up the ramp. The net velocity is zero. So at that contact point, the velocity is zero. It's equal to velocity center of mass minus r omega, which is r omega minus r omega, which is zero. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Okay, so the velocity is zero, so that means it's not actually, the displacement is zero. I know it feels weird because you're looking at the velocity, the displacement of the center of mass as being down the ramp. But at that exact contact point, there's no displacement, right? So the work is zero when it comes to doing the work energy process here. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So I have a marble with mass m, okay, and radius r, starts at rest and rolls without slipping down an incline of 30 degrees. Assume a height h and I is equal to 1/5 mr squared. I'm just going to call this theta. We'll just put it in terms of theta instead of an angle. Just get used to not having any numbers here. Okay, what is its acceleration, right? So this is what we're doing it from a forces point of view. So this is, right, acceleration requires us to draw a free body diagram. mg, normal force perpendicular to the surface. Technically, it should go through the center there, so like that. And then we have a frictional force this way. Go back and look at the unit 5. Or the previous unit on rolling for the forces analysis, if you're not sure about this one, okay? What is its acceleration? Well, the acceleration is down the ramp, so there's two things we can do. We can do F net equals ma. If we make down the ramp the positive direction, this way the positive y direction. So the mg we're going to decompose into mg sine theta and mg cosine theta. And if you look in the x direction, the net forces, you have mg sine theta down the ramp, you have force of friction up the ramp, and that's equal to ma. Okay, now how do we get that force of friction? Is we know net torque equals I alpha. The net torque, right, from this guy, gravity and normal force don't exert a torque, only the frictional force exert a torque. And that's equal to I 2/5 mr squared times alpha. Because it's rolling without slipping, we know that A is equal to R alpha. So when you simplify this, one of these R's cancel, and then this you can replace with just A, R times alpha. So you get the force of friction is 2/5 ma. We can plug that into there, right? So you get mg sine theta minus 2/5 ma is equal to ma. Move that over, you get mg sine theta is going to be 1 ma plus 2/5 ma is going to give me 7/5 ma. So the A is going to be 5/7 g sine theta. So this is the exact thing we did in the previous unit, just to make sure you're doing that. Now, what's the speed of the marble? Now, we could use kinematics for this. So if we use kinematics, you would say, well, how far did we travel down the ramp, right? Like we would say, well, let's see, sine of theta would be opposite over the distance here. So it'd be h over d. So the d is going to be h over sine theta. So how far we travel down the ramp, the displacement is h over sine theta. The initial velocity is 0. We want the speed here, and the acceleration is 5/7 g sine theta. And we can use kinematics to get this part. Right? So you get v is going to be square root. This is going to be 0, 2 times 5/7 g sine theta times h over sine theta. Those will cancel, and you get square root of 10/7 gh is the final velocity. Okay? So that we could have done from unit 5. Now let's try from an energy point of view. Okay? So if the system is the marble plus the earth, right? What's going to happen here when we do this is the work is going to be 0. Why? Because the gravity is not going to do any work. It's part of our system. Normal force is perpendicular to the displacement, so it's not going to do any work. And the frictional force, we just said is static friction, also doesn't do any work. So the work's going to be 0. So we can think about the energy we have at the start. If we make down here h equals 0, we only have gravitational potential energy because it's not spinning or moving, right? So it's mgh. And the final energy we have at the bottom, okay? At the bottom, there's no potential energy, but it has two forms of energy. It has a translational kinetic energy, plus it's spinning, right? So there's some energy in the spinning part, and some energy in the fact that it's just moving in a straight line. The center of mass is moving. Okay, so this is 1/2 mv squared plus 1/2. The I is 2/5 mr squared, omega squared. Now, because it's rolling without slipping, again, then the velocity of the center of mass is going to equal r omega. So that means v squared is r squared omega squared. So this guy you can replace with v squared, and those will cancel. So you get 1/2 plus 1/5 mv squared, which is 7/10 mv squared, right? And then by conservation of energy, we just say, oh, mgh has to equal the 7/10 mv squared. M's cancel. V is going to be square root of 10/7 gh. So you could see, again, how much we saved. Like, how difficult was it for me to find the speed at the bottom? Was like, it was a lot of analysis, all the FNet, and then the kinematics part, and then energy allowed me to get it faster. And so you can see we get the same answer whether we use energy or whether we use kinematic forces, torque, and kinematics. That's the exact same thing we just did. So that was the example there. If you found this video helpful, come check out our school community. It's got an amazing bunch of features. It's got extra videos, corrected videos, better than the ones that I have errors on YouTube. It's got multiple choice free response questions. I hold live Q&A sessions and go through more problems and I answer students' questions, help with schoolwork, all kinds of things. If you want to check it out, look in the description below or check out the website and find us in the school community. You get a 7-day free trial to give it a shot, just to check it out, see what it's like, come join some calls, and honestly, come learn AP Physics 1 even faster with us.